Hey everyone, I'm back this week to talk to you about a topic that's been on my mind lately that I've been thinking about as I work with clients this past week. I apologize in advance. I am fighting a cold, so if I break out into a hacking fit, I apologize. Let's see, last week we talked about self sabotage and how it's not actually self sabotage but self preservation. And this week I want to talk to you about how what's happening on our plate is not happening in isolation. That if we really look closely, what's happening on our plate is happening inside of us and around us. And I want to give you an example today. And the example that I'm going to use is binge eating. Or we can say overeating. And I'm going to put that in quotes because I don't even know, what even is overeating, right? We'll get into that. Or eating past the point of comfortable fullness. There are parallels between having too much food and having enough food with am I myself enough or am I too much? So think about it. How do you know inside that you've had enough without actually experiencing enoughness? We hear all the time, oh, make sure you eat enough, eat enough, eat enough, eat enough, especially as athletes, eat enough, eat enough, eat enough. But what if you've never actually had the experience of what being enough is? What if you've been taught to fear too much, and enough can feel dangerously close to too much? You have to be just enough, right? And I've had clients who have been who grown up in environments where they were told don't take up too much space, be as unnoticeable as possible, make sure you act appropriately for the situation, be just the right level, whatever that means. It's really confusing, right? But the point being is it's this constant Goldilocks thing of what's just the right amount, what's just enough. And so if you've grown up with this experience of never knowing what enough is, you never have the sensation of knowing when to stop, right? And this can show up as one of the barriers around binge eating. People say they're addicted to food. No, you're not addicted to food. It's just you've never experienced what enoughness is, and so you can't stop. There's no parameters for what enoughness is. So what do I mean by enoughness that doesn't have anything to do with the food? I mean enough connection, enough vulnerability, enough being listened to, enough fun, enough joy, enough speaking your truth, enough choice, enough rest, right? I can never get enough, so I never know when I can stop. And so this can show up in perfectionism or overachieving or over-exercising, right? I have to keep going because I don't know when enough is enough. And I hear this all the time too. If I stop, there's nothing left for me here and I'm just going to collapse. And so I have to keep this hustle up. I have to keep going. So how do you heal from this? Well, it's far too nuanced and complicated for a 60-second Instagram story. But some of the things that we work on is we have to stop the restriction, and not just of calories, but the restriction of rest, of joy, of connection, of authenticity, and the list goes on. We have to learn to ask for what we want. If what we've learned is that wanting has danger associated with it, we're never going to be satisfied. And so we're going to keep grasping for things in an attempt to feel satisfied and never quite get there because it's not truly what we want. And the other thing that we have to learn is how to say no. Usually people who binge on food, binge on yeses, yes to everything, because again, they don't know when enough is enough. And so it's really difficult to say no. This is a topic that's really close to my heart and that I'm super passionate about. So, if you made it this far, thank you for listening. And if you have any questions about anything that I talked about today, anything that you want to hear more about, or any questions about what working with me is like, please don't hesitate to send me a message or sign up for a discovery call on my website. Thank you all, and I hope you have a great weekend.